morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. I own a immigration law firm headquartered here in sunny South Florida, helping business owners and entrepreneurs and families navigate our U.S. immigration system. And every Monday morning, I come to you with Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about what's going on with U.S. immigration, generally in the past week, and some other kind of super high-level timeframes, so that you have a good understanding of what's going on. And so if you have any questions during this live, feel free to pop them in the chat and I will respond to them. If not, I can always catch them on the replay. So let's dive in. So the first thing I want to talk about that happened last week was President Biden rolled back part of the travel suspensions that were put in place by the previous White House administration. So now, if you are applying for a green card and you are overseas, you are no longer prohibited from having your interview scheduled, getting your immigrant visa in your passport, and entering the U.S. The prior White House administration had banned green card applicants. So whether your green card application was due to a family-based application or an employment-based application under the previous administration, due to the pandemic, he put a stop to that. So President Biden has stopped that. So our green card applications being processed at U.S. consulates overseas will now go forward. They will, however, go forward with the caveat that the actual consulate is processing applications. So we still are in the middle of a pandemic, folks. The consulates are still not operating at 100%. But the presidential proclamation is no longer an issue with your application. So that is tremendously good news for individuals that are overseas and have been waiting for their visa appointments and for their green card applications to go through. The next thing I want to talk about, another bit of good news. There's been some back and forth with the naturalization test to become a U.S. citizen. The prior White House administration had USCIS change that test, added more questions, but did not change the percentage that needed to be correct. Well, current White House administration has said a lot of work went into the prior test. And so we are now reverting back to the old test. So what's old is now new again. So if you filed before December 1st, or you will automatically be taking the old test. If you filed when the new test was in operation, you will be given a choice if you would like to take the new test or the old test. And the agency did that, understanding that some people have been studying based on the new test with the added questions. So that will be up to you. If you are filing after March 1, you will automatically be getting the now old test, which is now new again. So at the end of the day, everyone can take the old test, even if you were studied for even if you're studying the questions under what was the new test. So we are back to where we were before with our naturalization applications, which is great news for some folks. So if you are unsure where to find these 100 possible questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. I'm happy to send you the link so that you can get them, but they are on the USCIS website. But if you need help finding them, just feel free to pop a note in the comments or send me a DM. I'm more than happy to send you that link to help you study. Super quick update, the H-2Bs, which are temporary workers coming to the U.S. in every industry except agriculture. They receive an H-2B visa. That is their category. So H-2Bs are capped every fiscal year. And so the H-2B cap was reached for the second half of fiscal year 2021. So if you were looking to get an employee in for the second half of fiscal year 2021 on an H-2B, and you haven't already been alerted that that you have filed, or that your filing has been accepted, unfortunately, the cap has been reached. So you will have to find alternative methods of either getting that work done or getting the employee in the U.S. And if you need help with that, feel free to give my office a call at 954-903-1337. We are more than happy to help you with that. We have another bit of tremendously good news coming out of USCIS last week. It was like a week of good news. I'm so excited. E3s, E as in Edward, 3, they are now eligible for premium processing here in the US. Premium processing allows for certain applications to be processed and adjudicated within 15 calendar days. So for a very long time, our E3 folks out of Australia were not eligible for premium processing. Now they are, which is very exciting. So I think of E3s as the H-1B specifically for Australians. So in order to qualify for an E3, you guessed it, you have to be an Australian citizen. You have to have a job offer in the United States. And that job must be a specialty occupation, meaning that at a minimum, that job must require a U.S. bachelor's degree or the foreign equivalent to a U.S. bachelor's degree, and your prospective employee must have a related degree to the position offered. So that's why I call it the sort of the H-1B specifically for our Australian friends. So again, the E3s, if you're filing in the United States with USCIS, those are now eligible for premium processing. So super, super excited about that. The H-1B lottery, we are moving forward and getting closer and closer to registration time. If you are a prospective employer and you would like to file the registration, you can create what's called an H-1B registrant account in my USCIS beginning tomorrow, March 2nd at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So if that's something that you have not done, you did not do last CAP season, and you need to do this CAP season, you are able to do that tomorrow, March 2nd, beginning at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. The last thing I want to talk about today, this morning, this fabulous Monday morning, are our F1 OPT students. So I've been talking for the past couple of weeks about how receipt notices have been incredibly delayed. Students have been bearing the brunt of that with delayed receipt notices. Students applying for and wishing to do OPT have a very tight time frame. Typically, the rule, I should say, is they are allotted an initial period of 12 months of OPT. We all know if you're a STEM eligible for OPT, then you can have your STEM OPT after your original OPT. But if we're applying for our original OPT, we have 12 months in OPT, and we are given 14 months to complete that 12 months of OPT. Typically, that 14-month clock starts at the end of the academic program. Well, with receipt notices taking a very long time to get processed, students have found that their OPT time has been cut short to less than 12 months because they didn't have a full 14 months after their program in order to complete it because the receipt notices were simply not being issued. And there was a significant delay on the part of USCIS. Well, USCIS has now recognized that they have a delay and that students are in fact being adversely harmed. So what they are now doing is if your OPT was approved for less than 12 months, but it was filed timely, CIS will now go back and issue you an updated EAD card to reflect 12 months. And so now they're also starting your 14-month clock as of the day let me read this real quick, just make sure I get it correct. As of the day they approve the OPT. So even if under normal circumstances, if we're counting from the end of the academic program, you would not have the 14 months. We are now counting from the time your OPT is approved. So that should give everyone a full 12 months in their OPT. If your application was not accepted because it was found that you needed to refile, CIS is going to let you refile. But it had to have been timely filed to begin with, and they had to have received it on or after October 1. So if you were denied because you didn't have enough time in OPT to get it completed and they rejected you, you now have an opportunity to reapply, but you must reapply before May 31st. So students, if you have any questions about that, or reach out to our office, 954-903-1337, and we can, kind of help guide you along that path. OPT can be sometimes a little bit confusing. So that's all I have for you all today with Beyond the Soundbite. Lots of good news coming out of USCIS last week. So that was amazing. It's an amazing week for immigration, and I'm going to take it. Quite frankly, I'm gonna take the good news and run with it. So this is Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and this is Beyond the Soundbite every Monday morning. If you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the comment section. Hashtag replay. I do look at these after the live, and I go back and I answer your questions. Or if you want to reach out to the office directly, you can do so at 954-903-1337. Feel free to share this stream if you found it helpful, or if you think a friend or a colleague may find it helpful. I am here to help you all navigate the U.S. immigration system. Have an amazing week, everyone. Bye-bye.